What is going on, Trash Talkers? We're back with another episode for you. In today's video, we're going to give you our power rankings entering Week 15 in the NFL. All that and much more coming your way right now! Hey Trash Talkers, over 85% of you are still not subscribed to the channel. Please be sure to hit that red subscribe button and turn on notifications, as it will help us create more daily content for you. Thank you and enjoy today's video. Alright Nick, week 15 is upon us and we are closing in on the back 4 games of the season. It is crunch time. A lot of teams are going to be vying for some of the playoff spots that we're kind of looking forward to and really watching out for, especially with the 6 and 7 seeds in both the AFC and the NFC. But right now I want to talk about the power rankings and kind of where these teams stack up with one another. And Nick, why don't you get us started? 32-31, who we got?
Same old, same old. We got the Detroit Lions at 32 and the Houston Texans at 31. Both these teams had abysmal games in week 14 and they don't deserve to move at all. They stick here at the bottom of the barrel.
Next up, we have teams 30 through 21, starting off with the Jacksonville Jaguars at 30, the New York Jets, the New York Giants, the Chicago Bears, the Carolina Panthers, the New Orleans Saints, the Seattle Seahawks, the Atlanta Falcons, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Las Vegas Raiders. Nick, out of these teams, which surprised you the most?
For me, I thought the New Orleans Saints had a really good week against the New York Jets. I actually thought the New York Jets would take this one. I thought the New Orleans Saints under Taysom Hill, it was not going to go smoothly. I mean, for the first half of the game, you could say it was a pretty tight race. The Jets were definitely in it. And then we saw in the second half, the New Orleans Saints pulled away. A lot of help from that defense. Alvin Kamara. Taysom Hill had an incredible day on the ground as a runner, but he's as inefficient throwing the ball as Lamar Jackson. There's no way Taysom Hill is the answer. And just because this team has an above 500 record does not mean that they're a good team. That's why they're coming in here at 25.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the Saints, they have just dealt with so many injuries at key positions that they have not been able to get going. And we saw Alvin Kamara literally put this team on his back and do everything he could to will them to a victory. But it came against the New York Jets, and that's just not impressive. It's not impressive enough to move them up this list or above some of these other teams that may have lost or have shown things in the past where the Saints they're not a contender right now. So I agree with that 100%. The team I want to focus on, though, the Las Vegas Raiders. I mean, where did this team go? What happened to this team? I know that we talked a little bit about how the Raiders were flowing, and then all of a sudden you saw the Henry Ruggs, the John Grudens, the Damon Arnett's, all of that just happening one after the next after the next. And then it seemed like this team had kind of found their stride a little bit. They were able to get things going, and now all of a sudden they take on the Kansas City Chiefs and just get absolutely trounced. I mean, how are you going to go into Kansas City, have a team huddle on the Chiefs logo at midfield pregame, and not expect for the Chiefs to come out absolutely swinging? I mean, you were desecrating their land. You were coming onto their turf and disrespecting it. And they came out and scored on the first play. You didn't even give yourselves a chance. By the time you woke up, it was 48 points up on the board and you had no idea what happened. The Las Vegas Raiders are in shambles, and the guys on CBS said it. This team is on notice. Every single player right now is on notice. There's not a single job in the entire building that is safe. That goes with Rich Bisaccia. That goes with every coordinator and assistant coach. Goes with Derek Carr at the quarterback position, Josh Jacobs at the running back position, the entire offensive line, the entire defense. Nobody is safe, and they have to start figuring out who's here to play and who's going to be gone next season.
Well, I mean, if you're saying Max Crosby's on the market, then sign me up. I want that man because he's worth every single penny.
All right, next up we have teams 20 through 11, starting off with the Minnesota Vikings at 20, the Denver Broncos at 19, the Washington Football Team, the Cleveland Browns, the Cincinnati Bengals falling to 16, the Miami Dolphins, the Philadelphia Eagles, the San Francisco 49ers, the Baltimore Ravens, and the Los Angeles Chargers. Nick, out of these teams, which one surprised you the most?
Yeah, the Baltimore Ravens continue to slip and slip and slip. And I think this was the nail in the coffin with Lamar Jackson getting injured, hurting his ankle. He may not be out for the season. He may not be out for next game. But this is the end of their season because they lost to the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns, who are abysmal on both sides of the ball, absolutely tore this team apart. And we saw Tyler Huntley come in, and he played better than Lamar Jackson. Actually, he gave the Ravens a chance to win this game. So Lamar Jackson getting back under center, that's not a good thing. I'd rather see Tyler Huntley because that means the Ravens are a much stronger team, and I fear that offense instead of Lamar Jackson. This team, this Baltimore Ravens team that's decimated by injuries, they're not going anywhere. They may win their division by sheer luck because the Bengals want to keep losing, the Browns are terrible, and the Steelers can't even coach their players to get back into the huddle as quickly as possible under the 2-minute warning. The Baltimore Ravens are going to be in the playoffs. They're going to absolutely get demolished first round. Doesn't matter what team it is. They are by far and away the worst team in the playoff picture right now.
Baltimore Ravens are in shambles, and if you recall last week, we had many a debate about the Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Ravens, and I, every chance I got, told you that the Cleveland Browns would win this game. Now, it got a little closer, but with Lamar Jackson, it was a pretty steady victory for the Cleveland Browns. You said it. Tyler Huntley gave them a better position of winning than Lamar Jackson did, and the fact remains that Lamar Jackson is not a good quarterback. Yeah, I said it. He's not a good quarterback. You can say that he is one of the most dynamic quarterbacks we've ever seen. That's true. The problem is, nobody respects his throwing ability. Not a single person. He cannot put the game on his shoulder and throw a team to victory. He has to run the ball. He is a running back that throws the ball sometimes. This offense is not predicated on throwing the ball. It's not even ground and pound because he doesn't have a guy who can ground and pound with him. There's no running back. Obviously, no Gus Edwards and no J.K. Dobbins due to injuries. But outside of those guys, they don't have anybody that can really help this team. I think the Baltimore Ravens are in shambles. And Nick, before I just, go to my team here, you talked about the Steelers not being able to be coached to get back in the huddle. I take exception to that. Mike Tomlin's a great coach. Chase Claypool definitely made a mistake, and that's on him, but that is not on Mike Tomlin. But a team that I do want to focus on, and one that I think has gotten the short end of the stick when it comes to people giving credit to their coaching, the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I've said for a couple of weeks now, don't be surprised if the Philadelphia Eagles sneak their way into the playoffs in the NFC. And guess what? The Eagles are currently tied for the 7th seed in the NFC. Now, there's a bunch of tiebreakers that have them holding out right now, but they are right there. They control their destiny right now, and if they win out, they will be able to move into that 7th seed in the NFC. I think the Philadelphia Eagles are getting hot at the right time. I think this passing offense under Jalen Hurts, who I did not believe in preseason and even during the early part of the season. Nick, we talked about this a lot. At the end of the day, I'm starting to believe in the Philadelphia Eagles as a true contender to get into the playoffs. What they can do from there is on them, but I believe that they have the gall to make it. I think they have the personnel to get it done and to get there. I think the Philadelphia Eagles are a team that we have to watch out for. They keep climbing up our board, and they're climbing into the NFC playoff picture.
Look, the Eagles are showing some bright spots that give you some motivation for the future, but there's nothing on this Philadelphia Eagles team that tells me that they are a sneaky team for the playoffs, that they actually have an ability to do something in the postseason this year. The Philadelphia Eagles are going to get in by sheer luck, by just poor play by the other NFC teams. They're just lucking their way in like the Baltimore Ravens. At the end of the day, the Philadelphia Eagles are not going to go anywhere, and they're going to continue to be average in the NFL. And for our top 10, starting off with number 10, we have the Indianapolis Colts making their way back into the top 10. Haven't been here since the first half of the season, but the Indianapolis Colts on bye have shown tremendous abilities, tremendous strides this season, getting closer into the playoffs, and now they're back into the playoff fold They have made their way as the number 6 seed currently, and they're looking good. Can't wait to see what they have in store for the rest of the season. Like you said earlier, they're sparking hot at the right time.
Next up at number 9, we see the Buffalo Bills, and the Bills actually moved up a spot even though they lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The problem is they actually took the Buccaneers to the brink, and they held them all the way throughout. And at this point, I think the Buffalo Bills are in desperation mode. They were a Super Bowl contender. Now they may not even make the playoffs. There's a lot to see from this Buffalo Bills team. They're going to luck into the situation that you talked about, Nick, with a very weak back end of the AFC. The Bills will make the playoffs, but it's not looking pretty right now.
Coming in at number 8, we have the Tennessee Titans, who had an incredible victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, the Jacksonville Jaguars are no competition for the Tennessee Titans, but the Titans, they're still getting healthy. They're still trying to work through these injuries, and now with Julio Jones back, we see them putting up tremendous numbers. Derrick Henry is about to make his return, and they're continuing to show that they can compete even without their best players. I can only imagine what they're going to do with them. The Tennessee Titans are one of the scariest teams in the NFL altogether, and at full strength, they might be the best.
At number 7, we see the Kansas City Chiefs enter the fray. Kansas City Chiefs are looking really strong on the defensive side of the ball, and on offense, they've started to really get things going, really get things clicking. Tyreek Hill is getting more involved. Travis Kelce and all of these guys are really starting to spark some synergy with Patrick Mahomes in this offense. The offensive line seems to have been holding up really well, and they had a really big test against the Raiders. I'm excited to see what they can do moving forward. The addition of Clyde Edwards-Helaire has really helped this team, especially with the running game. He has offset them really well. I'm excited to see what the Chiefs can do moving forward.
And coming in at number 6, the Dallas Cowboys making their return. The Cowboys defense lighting it up this week against the Washington football team. The Dallas Cowboys offense being tremendously disappointing. Dak Prescott throwing balls straight to the defense, not even making proper reads. CeeDee Lamb unable to get open. It seems like Amari Cooper is truly the only weapon that Dak can rely on. Ezekiel Elliott being banged up. No Tony Pollard. This offense is in shambles. Luckily, the defense is incredible. Randy Gregory with an incredible couple plays. We see a star in the making, a game wrecker in the making, and Micah Parsons, incredible. Trayvon Diggs and that secondary continue to be stout. The defense is what's going to carry the Cowboys for a while, and if the offense can figure it out, they're going to be scary. They're going to be one of the toughest teams in the NFC to face.
At number 5, we see the Los Angeles Rams. Now, the Los Angeles Rams went into Arizona without Jalen Ramsey, so I'm not going to hold that against them. But at the end of the day, the Los Angeles Rams are one of the best teams in the NFC. They have incredible talent on both sides of the football. I think they're going to be just fine moving forward. I'm excited to see what they can do, but they will end up being the 5 seed in the NFC.
And coming in at number 4, the New England Patriots. The Patriots on bye this week, but on a 7-game win streak. They're facing off against the Indianapolis Colts and then the Buffalo Bills at home for their second meeting. They've got a couple strong games in front of them, and if they can persevere, they're going to show that they're not just competing for the division, for the conference. They're competing for the Super Bowl trophy. They're competing to be the best.
From New England, we go to Tampa Bay at number 3, just like Tom Brady did. And at the end of the day, the Buccaneers look strong on both sides of the football. They played a very well-oiled and desperate Buffalo Bills team. They got a little lackadaisical in the second half, giving up some stupid 3-and-outs and not really getting things going on the defensive side of the ball. That defense was on the field way too long. Josh Allen picking them apart. So they have things to work on for sure. But at the end of the day, they have what it takes to be a championship team. As we saw last year, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers deserve to be at number 3.
Coming in at number 2, we have the Green Bay Packers. On Sunday Night Football, we saw the Green Bay Packers get a little stiff competition from the Bears early on, and they quickly turned it around because that's what the Green Bay Packers do. They're not going to let a bad team come and creep in on them. They're going to blow them out of the water and put them right back in their place, especially when we all know Aaron Rodgers owns the Chicago Bears. The Bears got put in their place by a tremendous performance. Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones. Incredible team that continue to get better each and every week.
And at number 1, we have the Arizona Cardinals, the class of the NFC right now. The Arizona Cardinals had a really tough competition with the Los Angeles Rams on Monday Night Football, but at the end of the day, the Cardinals are who we thought they were. They are a very strong team on both sides of the football. You see Chandler Jones getting into the mix. You see Kyler Murray and company really being able to do things on offense that you know, they struggled with while Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins were out for that 3-game stretch. Now the Cardinals are in full swing. They're getting going. We see the addition of James Conner really helping them out right now. At the end of the day, I like the Arizona Cardinals as our top team for our power rankings.
Yeah, the Arizona Cardinals continue to be stout, and they continue to impress. Cliff Kingsbury doing an incredible job. There really is no ceiling for how high this team can go, how well they can be. I don't even think they're playing at their best ability. I can only imagine what untapped potential is still out there and what they can bring going into the postseason.
All right, well, I want to hear from you guys. Let us know in the comments down below what you think of our power rankings. Let us know which teams we have too high and which teams we have too low. All right, well, that's going to be all for now. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. We go live every single day. That'll be all. Peace and love.